Hey, this is Neal Ronahan from Nintendo Report, and I'm joined by Don Koopman.
Hello, everybody.
And I had the good fortune of playing Ever Oasis at a recent event. Uh, this was a game that was announced last E3. It's developed by Grezzo, who they were responsible for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D, and also Triforce Heroes. And I think they helped out with the Four Swords anniversary release as well, I
Yeah,
think.
I played it a little bit actually at my event too, but not as much as you did.
Okay,
I think.
okay. Was it the year?
Yeah,
Weren't you unsure if it
they,
was at the European
they,
event?
they didn't pre-announce it. That's the thing.
All right. Okay. Okay. But yeah, so I got to. This is kind of Grezzo's first attempt outside of Line Attack Heroes, which is a WiiWare game that never came out in America, but was
I
playable at the first E3 I ever went to.
I played Lion Attack Heroes. It was only available in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. But that was. I mean, this is the first time that Grezzo's kind of making their own thing, and
Yeah,
I've been very curious about it since it was announced because I think that Grezzo has cut their teeth on remaking some of the best games from the late '90s and early 2000s, and
I,
Ocarina of
I
Time and
was
Majora's Mask.
I might not remembering this correctly, but didn't Grezzo also make a Street Pass game?
Yes, yes, they did. I forget which one.
I think the Garden one.
Yes, yes, they did do the Garden one. Um, but yeah, so I mean, Grezzo's been working with Nintendo for coming up on more than 6 years now, and
They
this is
did.
kind
Yeah.
of their first stab at making their own thing, and it's being directed by Koichi Ishii, who is the former. He used to work at Square Enix. He directed Secret of Mana. He
Mhm.
also, I think, he had a hand in the creation of Chocobos and Moogles, which is pretty cool. But
Yep.
this is, he's directing this game. It draws inspiration from Mana. It draws inspiration from Zelda, and it even has this like interesting town building aspect. So the part that I got to play was they started off in the titular Oasis. You started off there, and that's your hub. You can kind of improve that town at shops. You can synthesize weapons there. There's a whole day-night cycle that you can go through, and in that area, I picked up a side quest for this dude named Jasper, who he lost some stuff out in the wastelands of the world. I mean, then you leave the Oasis, this posh environment, and then you go off into the desert, where you kind of explore. There's enemies on the overworld. If you're out there at night, the enemies are a lot harder, as I learned pretty early on, as I went up against some tough enemies at night and got totally wrecked.
Right.
Um, the combat, at least at first, is pretty basic. You just have two buttons. There's like a light attack and a strong attack, and you have three different characters that you can jump from. Very Secret of Mana like. You also have, for some characters, you have a special attack that's activated with another button. For that, the main character Tethu, he had the ability to like shoot out a little tornado, and his regular attack was a sword. And then I had another character whose name is Miura, who had a spear. She was taller. I think these were all the ones that are kind of shown off in the art. And then Roto, who had a boomerang and was a healer. So those were the three characters, and you kind of wandered around and fought enemies and tried to find other people to talk to. And when you would talk to other people in the environment, they can start off on their side quests. They might have interest in visiting your oasis, which means that you can open up quests later that then you can go and recruit them to join your party. The mission that I set off to complete was I had to go find an enemy, beat him up, find Jasper's stuff, and then bring it back and give it to Jasper, and then he joined my party. And he has the ability to dig up holes where treasure's kept, which was helpful. I saw a little more than that, but so it's not just me talking the whole time. Don, what did you check out of Ever Oasis?
I went to the desert as well, but immediately went to a cave and did a whole bunch of stuff there. Fought some enemies, walked around a bit, talked to some NPCs. I didn't really. They just threw you into the game. They didn't really give me an explanation, which was not very helpful to me.
Yeah, all I got was talk to Jasper. That was how they had the demo set up for me.
They didn't tell us anything. So I just went up, just exploring the mechanics and walked around a bit. And I did really enjoy it, but I didn't really have a clear direction of where that game went. Hence why I'm not previewing that game
Yeah.
right now.
So yeah, in one of the caves that I went into when I was on the search for Jasper stuff, you know, there was some light puzzle stuff there. So each of the characters kind of, I think they might develop them as they level up, but they had special abilities that you could use in the overworld. So Mira, the tall spear wielder, she had the ability to kind of like push over big objects, which doing that kind of set up this course that then I could take Roto, who can go into a flower petal and turn into a ball for some reason. And then she bounced around the area and then wound up in a secret room that I could go in there and get some good materials, which then you can use those materials to help build shops, fund shops, all sorts of things, build weapons, build armor. And then I also found another side quest when I was out there that was talking to one character who was looking for like her brother or something, and then I had to go out and go around to different trees because he liked a certain fruit, and then find this guy who turned out to be this big gnarly looking hammer wielding guy that then he briefly joined my party, and then I was able to use his hammer, which was tied to another button, to use like a stun attack with his hammer, which would cause a lot of damage, and I could also use his big hammer to break rocks, which then opened up more places that I could access. I found another settlement, and yeah, that was kind of my time with Ever Oasis. Went back to the town, and then kind of messed around with upgrading the town a little bit, adding more shops, seeing some guys come visit my Oasis that then I could talk to them and set up more quests and try to just make the world a better place. That's what Ever Oasis is all about. And I wanted to play more. Like I plunked a good like 40 minutes into that game at the demo, and I just kind of was like, can I just bring this home with me? I just want to play more of this game. It's so far it's coming up to be, at least from playing that demo, I had hopes for this game, and they were met. Like I'm very excited for Ever Oasis to come out. I'm so stoked that it's just a little over a month away.
It is. It's pretty much around the corner because there's not any major Nintendo release this month.
Well, Fire Emblem.
Well, yeah, Fire Emblem. Oh yeah, I forgot it. I was like, you're but yeah, I'm looking at the English release right now. That's true. Yeah. But it's outside of that, it's waiting until the next 2 months, because then the whole bunch of stuff comes out, and that's one I really look forward to. But I didn't really. The thing is, I really enjoyed like the combat aspects of it and how you roam the world, and it seemed really cool. I just didn't have a clear direction of where the game was going.
Yeah, I feel like it's a hard game to demo. I wound up talking to one of the guys from Nintendo of America that was at the event, and was kind of just like, so like, what's the flow? And I mean, it's basically like you're trying to make this Oasis better, you're trying to make the world better. So you go out into it's kind of like the overworld and the town kind of feed into each other. Where you want to go out to the overworld to try to recruit different characters to come to your village, and the more people you get who live in your village, the more residents, like the more powerful your town becomes, and the more abilities you can unlock, the more things you can do, the more shops you can have, and then to build up materials to use for those shops. Like I was told the example of like, you might have a fruit shop that runs out of fruit, so then you have to go out to a certain spot in the environment and then gather fruit to give to the shop, so that way they can prosper. And it just seems like that loop is something that's really appealing to me, because it is kind of like almost that like you're going out into the wild, doing some things, then coming back and kind of seeing how your progress reflects in the town. And
yeah, I like
it.
I really like an action reaction aspect to a gameplay loop as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how that will turn out.
And I've been waiting since they made Ocarina of Time 3D. I've been waiting to see what Grezzo can do when left to their own devices, and it looks like Ever Oasis is going to be that. And I'm really excited to see how it all comes together.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, and that's that. It's coming out on June 23rd. Stay tuned to Nintendo World Report for more information about Ever Oasis. If it winds up being as good as I hope it is, then we'll probably be talking about it a lot more. So check us out, and thank you for listening. Bye.